Cabbage. Hey, what's up, everybody? It is my keto journey episode 14. Back on the Friday bandwagon. So, sorry for the foul language there to begin, but I really do just want to say cabbage. So going through this keto journey, I've been through a lot of phases of trying to figure out my body, and what I'm really trying to do right now is really figure out the physiology of what my body needs in order to really turn into a fat burning machine. So really, I think what I've mentioned before is the genesis of this journey really started with 30-10 weight loss for life, where on that program, when I reverse engineered it and kind of went back and figured out what it was that they were doing, that was a low carb, low fat, low calorie diet. So they'd like you to believe that it's a lifestyle, but if you have to buy their food, in my opinion, it's a diet. So love what it did for my body and that it did it so quickly, and hated the fact that I was tied to their food, and wanted to figure out a way that I could eat real food, like my grab-and-go sausage omelet, every day, and still have the same benefits of losing weight, feeling more healthy, things like that. So really figuring out what needs to go in here to make me not feel like I'm missing anything, make me feel like I'm not hungry, and really fixing this part of me to realize that that food really is just fuel for my body, and that's been a long process. So this week, I started out last Friday. When I weighed in, I was 340.9, and finally broke through over the weekend through the 340 barrier, which I've been up against for the last couple of weeks. Now, my goal for March was to be under 335 by the end of the month, and on Wednesday, I was at 335.4. So I was feeling pretty confident because I had basically lost about a pound a day over 5 days. And I felt like I was in the zone. I felt like everything was clicking. Everything was going good. I'm doing my workouts in the morning. On the days that I lift, I'm taking my pre-workout shake and my pre-workout protein. There were a couple days where I totally nailed my macros. And when I say totally nailed, I was within about 10 grams on my fat and my protein, and well under on my carbs. So probably by 5 to 10 grams of carbohydrates under where I'm supposed to be. So I was feeling really good. Now, Wednesday afternoon, Terry calls me and says, "Hey, I'm going to make sausage and cabbage for dinner. Can you have that?" And I thought, yeah, absolutely, I can have that. So thinking, nice leafy green vegetable. She threw in some Brussels sprouts, which are one of my favorites too. So we had basically some kielbasa sausage that she sauteed in a little bit of butter with some cabbage and some Brussels sprouts. And so I came home and I ate about 3/4 of what she had cooked because I was pretty hungry. I'd worked out, I'd lifted that day. I had my grab-and-go omelets for breakfast, and actually went to Carl's Jr. and had a lettuce-wrapped hamburger for lunch, and was still, well under the amount of calories, protein. Fat was getting close to where I needed it to be, and carbohydrates were still pretty low. So I thought, sausage, no carbs; cabbage, green leafy vegetable, no carbs; Brussels sprouts, green vegetable, no carbs; Um, Cabbage. So I went to MyFitnessPal after we ate and put in what I thought that I had eaten. Probably about 6 to 8 ounces of cabbage, probably about a cup of Brussels sprouts, and about 2/3 maybe of that kielbasa sausage that she cooked up. Protein, fat, totally fine. Carbohydrates, through the roof. So, overshot my carbs by about, I think 14 or 15 grams for the day, which when you look at it, I mean, that's 50% over. So even taking into account the fiber, I think I had maybe 6 or 7 grams of fiber that day. I was still well over my carbohydrates. I woke up in the morning and weighed myself like I always do, thinking, okay, well, I overshot carbs by a bit. And based on, losing a pound a day for 5 days, I thought, maybe there was a point that would slow down and I would gain a little bit of that weight back. I was up 4 damn pounds. 4 pounds in a day. 4. Okay, 3.9, but 4 pounds in a day. So yesterday I was pretty bummed. Still went to the gym. Still did my off day workout, which is kettlebell swings, switch grip kettlebell swings. It's some push-ups, some planks, and some wall sits, as well as about 20 minutes of walking. And my Apple Watch did not record my first mile or so of walking as exercise. I looked at my watch, say, boy, I should be pretty close to closing my exercise ring, and it was still stuck at where it was when I was done with my kettlebell swings. So I stopped the workout, restarted it, and walked another 20 plus minutes to get my exercise ring closed. So yesterday sucked, and this morning we're down a couple of pounds from yesterday. We're at 337.8, which gives me 3.1 pounds lost for the week. In emailing back and forth with my coach, kind of one of the other steps along this weight loss journey for me, and trying to figure out really what it is that I need to fuel my body and turn it into a fat burning machine, is the low carb, high fat thing. And we've talked about that a little bit before, where basically if you follow that community, it's just keep your carbs low, eat as much fat as you want, and use moderate protein. And that worked a little bit for me, and it didn't work great. So that's what led me to the Keto Masterclass by Rob Wolf, and Rob Wolf, through that, led me to the Ketogains calculator and the Ketogains Bootcamp that I'm doing now. And so in talking with my coach there yesterday, via email, she was looking at my macros, and for the most part, my carbs are dialed in. Like, I can go all day and not have over my allotted carbs. That's pretty typical. The thing that I'm struggling with is getting enough protein and keeping my fat under control. So probably coming from the low carb, high fat realm, I really haven't worried about fat too much. And what she said made a lot of sense, that if you continuously feed your body fat, it doesn't have a reason to tap into your fat stores to burn fat. Makes sense. It's going to take the most readily available fuel. I'm not giving it sugar, so it's not going to go there. So it's going to go to fat, and if I'm plugging fat into my body, that's what it's going to use first before it taps in through the liver and grabs the fat out of my body. So that made sense. I guess the thing that I'm wondering now is, should I make this a low carb, low fat, and higher protein than what I have been doing? And so researching a little bit last night, scrolling through Twitter. One of the people that I follow is Dr. Andreas Enfelt of dietdoctor.com. And he had posted a 1 minute 47-ish second clip of Dr. Benjamin Bikman. I think that's how you say his name. It might be Bikman. If I'm mispronouncing that, I apologize. But he had posted a short clip of a longer speech that he had done at a conference. And so I logged into Diet Doctor because I'm a member there. And if you guys are curious to watch this video, you can sign up for a 30-day free trial. It's a great site for all things keto, low carb, tons of recipes, things like that. But I'll link to that video, and I'll tell you, it's heavy on the science. I would be amazed if I actually understood 10% of it. And I watched the whole 30-plus minute video last night before I went to bed. And he's talking about the ratio between insulin and glucagon. And so basically, if you have a higher insulin to glucagon ratio, then your body is in the storing building mode. So basically storing and building fat. And I think that's the anabolic state. I think that's right. So I'll have to watch the video again. Anabolic. And then if you have a higher glucagon to insulin ratio, then your body is in a catabolic state. In other words, it's using your fat for energy versus the insulin trying to use the sugar carbohydrates that you're putting into your body. So again, I certainly not a scientist, but it kind of made sense as well. And his hypothesis through this whole thing is that we shouldn't fear protein when it comes to a low carb diet. And I think that based on the amount of protein that they're having me eat is way more than I would have thought that I would have ever needed. And when I do nail those macros, I do see some pretty dramatic results fairly quickly. So I guess, other than Cabbage, the biggest thing in this video that I want you to take away is don't be afraid of protein, and make sure that you're getting adequate protein throughout the day. I think the other thing that I'm taking away from this is that I really need to figure out how to eliminate some of the fat from my diet, because when I make, say, egg salad or tuna salad for lunch, I just glop in some mayonnaise, about 3 to 4 tablespoons of mayonnaise to like 2 cans of tuna, along with some pickles and maybe some onions, and stir that all up and eat it, and it's all nice and gooey, and it tastes great because there's lots of fat in it. And on days that I do that, I tend to go over my fat macros. So I think what I'm going to try and do is, I really don't want to eat dry tuna fish, so at the very least cut that down quite dramatically. I don't really like just eating plain hard-boiled eggs either, so cut it down dramatically in both of those instances, maybe 25% of what I'm putting in there now, and see how that does. I did that with some egg salad last night, and it was edible. It wasn't fantastic, but I could get it down. And again, food is fuel. So I need to get away from the idea that food is pleasure, and just that food is fuel. And I need the protein. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm just putting the protein in my body and watching it change. So this is a long video, but my workouts, I'm increasing the weight that I'm lifting pretty much every week. And so I'm feeling really good about that. I I can kind of see some changes. Like when I'm lifting and looking in the mirror, I can kind of see that my body is changing a little bit. People, like I said last week, people are seeing it in my face and in my gut. And I might actually be starting to see a little bit of that change too. I'm always like feeling my arms though, because my gosh, just that lifting has really just changed the dynamics of my arms, and starting to see some muscles that I haven't seen in a while. So that's pretty cool. So anyway, I am today actually signing up for round 2 of the Ketogains Bootcamp. I'm going to do another round of novice. So if anybody wants to jump in with me, the link is here. I'll put it in the YouTube description as well. But the link is here. I'd love to have you join me, and let's motivate each other to do this thing. I think I'm down probably 14 or 15 pounds for the month of March, so I'm totally stoked with that. And if I can nail my fat here over the weekend and get my protein up, I think that I'm going to have a pretty successful weekend, and I'm 100% sure I'm going to be under 335 by this time next Friday. So hope y'all have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon. And what did I say? Oh, yeah, Cabbage.